there are things that we call emotional price anchors. And this is a thing that you notice anytime you talk to an old person and they're like, oh, I used to get a pack of gum for, 1 penny, and so what happens is the older you get, the further back in history your emotional price anchor is. It's the same thing with music, right? Like there's a sort of a point where, generally speaking, the average person sort of locks in to a moment when they're a teenager, usually. That's sort of like when their consciousness of pricing in general becomes a reality, and then they anchor down to that as sort of like their expectation of reality. And one of the things I say constantly is that unmet expectation is the source of all conflict. And so managing expectations is super important for reducing conflict. And so when people have these conflicting moments about their pricing or those sorts of things, and they aren't thinking about the fact that they have an emotional price anchor somewhere in the past that's like, especially now, is like forever ago in terms of inflation, right? And so dollar for dollar, it's just not the same thing. And so people just often don't even think about those things, and it increases the emotional intensity and weight of having to raise prices. And the risk is so high for almost every business owner that if they get it wrong, it will put them in the grave financially. And so it is a huge ask the first time you do it as a business owner. And so if you've never done it, please know that the very first time is the hardest. It feels the most scary when you've never done it before.